What's up, YouTube? I'm kind of just binge making videos today because there's tons of topics that I want to make videos about. And, I thought maybe, spread it out. But you know what? I got so many things I could talk about, so just screw it. And this is actually a very important one. Um, for anybody who can relate to this, you're not the only one out there. And I want you to know that there's a lot more to it than you realize. A lot more than you. There's so much truth that we don't know, that if we knew, I mean, society would just go into a panic. First off, secondly, you would question everything. I don't know if it's a good thing for these secrets to come out. Like, if the people on top, the secret societies, if they really actually dropped all of the truth and knowledge, it probably wouldn't be the best thing. And I know I've kind of had an issue with this before. Like where do I stand, with the secret societies and the things that they do? And I honestly can't, hate on them completely, because the thing is, you have to realize, I like to say, we exist because they exist, and they exist because we exist. um, you know, if the thing is, there's so many lower quality people. There's so many people who are like zombies. There's so many people who are indoctrinated, brainwashed, that they couldn't really just lay out all the truth. Society would just go nuts. I mean, even if you break one perspective in somebody's mentality, maybe they have one thing that's messed up with their paradigm and their thinking, and they're totally wrong about something. I mean, most people can't even handle just one thing in their mind changing about how they see the world, because then they all of a sudden they feel like they lose a grasp. So you can't even imagine like what it would be like if all the secrets came out. But basically the only thing I really want to cover in this video is just, if you feel like things are always against you, if you feel like it seems like no matter what, how good of a person you want to be, no matter how hard you try, at the end of the day you feel like you just can't get up, or you just can't get past whatever is your past. You can't grow, or you can't really, like, you see these people on TV and you see all the people who have success, and you just don't feel like you could get to that level. There's a reason why. And it's mostly because of just like social norms and society, what everyone's been brainwashed into being and acting. Here's the thing. Most people don't want to see you be successful. They don't want to see you become somebody. Most people. It's a mentality. It's just an issue with their mentality. Like, for example, I remember driving with my mom through like rich parts of Phoenix, and she starts getting mad. All these freaking rich people, and think about it, a lot of poor people and a lot of people on the bottom, even in the middle, they like to look at people on the top and like hate on them. It's like, it doesn't make any sense to hate on them, because if you know the truth, just because somebody has money doesn't make them some sort of bad person. Yeah, granted, there's a lot of people out there who are all about making money, and they're shallow people, or they're just evil, or they're just bad, or they're just empty people, or they're not humble, or the money makes them who they are, basically, and they're nothing without their money. Yeah, there's people like that. But at the same time, I mean, everything's a mentality. Okay, for example, there's a movie that they made, and I don't remember the name. I believe it's called The Stanford Project, something like that, or something like that. And it's basically just a movie about something that actually really happened somewhere around, like around the 70s. They did this experiment for only like 2 weeks. They took a whole bunch of like college students who just wanted to make some extra money over the summer, and it was just a project that everybody knew. They all signed a contract. half of them were made into the guards, the other half were made into the inmates. And they all knew that this was just some sort of silly experiment. It's not real. But as soon as they got in there, all of a sudden these the people in charge, they started to abuse their powers. Even people like the inmates, they're like, dude, this is just some sort of experiment. We know what we're in, right? And it just seems like it just kind of seems it wouldn't connect. It's like mentality wise, when they're in power, when they have that power and they're in charge, it's like none of that just goes and can make a connection in their head. The reason why they stopped it after 2 weeks is because things started to get really bad. They were supposed to be longer, but if they didn't stop it, someone was going to get killed soon. Someone was going to die because things started to get really out of hand. And the other interesting thing that they noted was they realized that some of the inmates, if they would have made these inmates, the cops or the guards, ironically, some of the inmates who were mad about what was going on, they actually would have done the same thing. Not all of them, but they could tell who. They could tell who. It was usually the ones who were rebelling, the ones who were kind of rebelling against them. I don't know. I don't remember exactly, but the point is, it's like even though there were some of the inmates and they were getting treated, crappy by these people who took power and abused it, some of those same inmates, if they were given the power, would have done the same thing. And so it's kind of crazy. It's just like that's how society works. Like that's how society works. A lot of people are just disconnected from, society does not help each other. That's why I don't like the idea of the customer's always right. Honestly, I believe the customer's always right is something that the elites made up because it's all part of the system to brainwash us. It's like the customer's always right. Well, everyone in this fucking country is a customer. And if we're all customers and if we're all right, then we're all just fighting each other. It's not even a human experience anymore. It's like you go to the store and it's like, I'm the customer and I'm right. And that's not how we should be treating each other. They designed the system for people to be like beating each other up, or it's not human anymore. And that's why I don't like that. It's like the customer is not always right. You as a customer, you're not always right. Be human. So with that being said, if you're somebody who feels like things are always just against you, you know what? It's because they are. The people who are living on the streets, society wants to label them as like crazy. Society is crazy. And the weak ones are those people, the ones who end up giving in. Then the ones who end up going crazy, those were just the weak ones. They don't understand what's going on. It drove them insane. They couldn't be part of the system anymore and they couldn't handle it. And they just feel better on the streets not being part of the system. But they're still empty because they're completely broken and confused. They're completely broken. They don't even understand their situation. They don't understand they're not bad people, that they're just, the system is crazy, the society is crazy, and it drove them insane. Now, that's why if you're at all strong, at all mentally, psychologically, spiritually, if you can be stronger, you can get over these things. You still might not like the system, you still might not enjoy it or whatever, get all the benefits from it, but it's usually the strong ones who can overcome it. And that's what happens. A lot of people on the top, like, they think, it's like when people received abuse and they think, oh, well, I overcame the abuse, so now, I don't want to hear any bitching from you when I abuse you. That's kind of what has been happening for so many centuries. It's just people passing down their shit to their kids and to society, and then everyone just amounting more shit, passing on more shit, amounting more shit, not taking care of their own shit. That's the way they designed the system. It's to get everybody fucking giving each other shit and not handling their own crap. Because when you handle your own crap, you can start to eliminate it, And then now you have less crap to give to people. And then if everyone did that, everyone would have less and less crap to give to each other, and it would be a better world. But that's not how it's not how it works. Society is against you. People um, people shame you into right back down to where you were. I don't know if you've ever noticed. Have you ever had times in your life where you just got sick of something and you said, I'm going to fucking do something about it? Like, let's say you were tired of not having money and you just decided you were going to go work 2 jobs and you were going to just give it your all. But then you, over time, it just started to wear on you because you're like, it just doesn't seem like society wants me to get ahead at all. I don't know if you know it. Like, for example, because I live in a town and I'm going to be moving to Phoenix this year, but in the past, whenever I've told people that I'm going to move to Phoenix, nobody supports it. Nobody supports it. Like, not even my own grandmother. I tell my grandmother I'm going to move to Phoenix. You know, she starts going, oh, are you sure? You know, there's this and that and that and this. Or if I tell her, you know what, I want to work 50, 60 hours a week so I can start saving money. She goes, are you sure? You're not going to get tired, or, you know, it's going to wear you out. Why do they do that? It's not even like, see, my grandma loves me and she's a really nice lady. She's not doing it because she hates me. She doesn't want to see me succeed. It's because it's a mentality thing. Remember what I said earlier about the Stanford Project thing? It's like they're lost in this loop and they don't understand. I mean, I'm her grandson. She should want me to go and explore and become a man. Like if I say, you know, I want to work 50, 60 hours a week, then she should be like, you know what? If you're going to say it, then you better do it and give it your all. You know? You know, that's what anybody who actually cares about you would say. But a lot of people, even people who are close to you, if you have any friends like that they don't support you when you say this, if you have a friend, like best friends, and then you're like, you ever mention like, oh, I'm tired of this aspect of my life, or I'm tired of this other aspect of my life, and they just shrug it off, they never seem to really care or offer you anything, those aren't your friends and you need to move the fuck on. That's the problem, is most society wants to see you down. And again, it's not even always like their fault. They didn't even know what's happening. Like, my grandma didn't realize what was going on. I had to explain it to her. I said, Grandma, the reason why you do that is because you're afraid to lose me. You think that if I go and become somebody and I'm not around you anymore, that it's like you lost me and I'm not going to be in your life anymore. And that's not true. And that's what she did with her own son. I mean, her son is like 55. He's got 5 of his own kids, but like 2 of them are on the streets doing meth up in Seattle, Washington. He's here in Arizona. He's got 2, 3 other kids. They're okay, but he's not in their lives. He doesn't care. He himself has been going through drug addiction the last 2, 3 years, and my grandma doesn't do anything. She doesn't say, you know what, you need to fucking stop doing this shit. I'm not going to support you anymore. No, she keeps helping him every single time. She actually stopped talking to me because of that, because every single time she would say, oh, now I got to give him money for this, and I got to help him with that. And I always would be like, you got to stop doing that. And so she just stopped because she realized that she just is embarrassed. She doesn't want to tell me anymore because she just has trouble. She can't shy away from that. He stole a truck from her and tried to sell it, and behind her back. And she asked him, and he said no. Or what happened was the cops actually got involved because, well, she didn't know that he sold it. She thought it was stolen, so she reported it stolen. And he didn't tell her. But when they investigated it, they actually found out, okay, so it was, you know, your son who did it. So, you know, even though you don't want him to get in trouble, we can't do anything because now it's, you know, state versus him. We already have all this investigated and stuff. And my grandma got mad at him. She said, why didn't you tell me? If you would have told me, I would have, you know, not let this go to court and whatever. But see, that's where she's wrong. She's not helping him. She's hurting him. And there's a lot of people like that. It's like they're your drug dealers. You think that they care because maybe they're making you feel good in that moment. They're not actually helping you. They have to push you. They have to be like, you know what, do it. Or you know what, I'm not going to help you if you keep doing this shit. So I'm going to make more videos about that, about how society is against you, because there's so many little things. And I know lots of stuff of how that actually works. There's tons of stuff, and it's crazy. You wouldn't even believe it. You wouldn't even believe all the little aspects, you know. Like a lot of the way things are set up in school, like a lot of the things that we are culturally, a lot of the even the designing of like buildings, the colors of buildings, things that they do, just every little corner you can even imagine. They're doing things to manipulate the system to try to get people to act, think a certain way. So I'm going to end this video very shortly. I'm going to make another video extending on this topic because I actually believe this all has to do with some government experiments they did back in the 60s with MK Ultra, and that they discovered how people's brains work. They learned that they can actually put people in loops, that people don't even realize they're in loops, and they can never get out of it because they don't realize they're in the loop. And so it's up to other people who see it to break these people out of those loops. And hopefully when they get out of their loop, maybe they can be awoke a little bit and they can start doing the same thing. You know, but in this society that we live in America, it's really hard to do those things because you say any sort of little thing that's the truth, and people start to get butthurt about it. Why? Because it goes against what they're used to, what used to help them survive before, even though they have no idea what the hell's going on and what you're talking about. So that's something I'm going to talk about in another video. Is about literally about, you know, how they manipulate the system, all these little things. It's all about creating these little loops. They put us in these loops that we don't even realize we're in. That's the main cause of like our misery and stuff. So I actually can't wait for that one. That one's really interesting because that's more of a mental thing. Like you're going to start to see a lot of things if you actually understand how that works. So we'll see where this goes. If you feel like society is against you, don't worry. You're not alone. Don't hate those people that are not helping you. Just realize that they're victims and that you're a victim, that you've been a victim, that you were a victim and now you're not anymore, and you can get past that. We were all victims at some point, and we all had to get out of it at some point. And it's up to the strong ones to open other people up about these things. So I'm going to make more videos about how you can help yourself not let these things stop you from getting to where you want to go. Okay? Alrighty, guys. Until then, just keep it easy.